far, we've considered research, data, and policies that impact inclusion, achievement, and success in FSL programs. We also want to consider how belief and mindset may influence these areas. How do our practices and actions align with our beliefs about inclusion? Consider these statements. How are they reflected in our practice?
Carol Dweck has done significant research on mindset and refers to moments when students and teachers might demonstrate a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. For example, students thinking with a fixed mindset might say,
"French really is not for me. I have never been very good at learning new languages, and I don't think I ever will be."
Students thinking with a growth mindset might say,
"French was pretty hard for me at first, but the more I practice, the more I can communicate with my ideas in French."
This theory of mindsets provides a useful tool for examining beliefs about the participation in FSL of students with special education needs. It allows us to identify and analyze values and beliefs that may underlie local procedures and policies related to the inclusion of students with special education needs in FSL programs.
On page 32 of the document, a chart helps us reframe unproductive beliefs that perpetuate the status quo and move to more productive beliefs that allow us to take actions on a case-by-case basis and develop evidence-based practices that provide more opportunities for all students. For example, instead of thinking that the learning needs of students with special education needs cannot be met in an FSL program, we can ask ourselves what changes can be made to the teaching learning program for them to be successful. Or instead of thinking that students with special education needs may not benefit from learning French, we consider their inclusion in FSL programs based on their ability to participate in the regular classroom and not based on the subject of instruction.
Engagement of and collaboration among all stakeholders are important elements of ensuring the provision of equitable and inclusive FSL programs. Stakeholders at all levels are encouraged to consider ways to collaborate with each other and engage in conversations about inclusive education in FSL. Let's take a few minutes to watch a team of educators collaborate to support a student with special education needs in an FSL program.
Developing an IEP is a team effort. Now, having said that, that's not an easy thing to accomplish when you have several teachers involved with students who have an individual education plan, finding time for them to connect, ensuring that they do connect and they talk about what they know about that child through the lens of their curriculum area. But we do always talk about and encourage staff to touch base, because it's really important, for example, in the life of an English child. If that English child in the English program is struggling with reading and writing in English, well, we can probably imagine that reading and writing output in French is probably still going to be a struggle too. So any accommodations that are being made in the English program, we want that core French teacher's input so that they can say, okay, in core French, here are the accommodations I can make for that child. In the French immersion program, we will have an English to immersion teacher. Same thing. The English to immersion teacher will have input and let the classroom teacher know what their concerns are, so as the individual education plan is being built, all the different teachers and all the different curricula are taken into consideration. Because when a child is struggling in one area, that area probably impacts all the different curricular area that they're working on. So it's really important that the whole team have input, and then it's really important that the whole team be familiar with that IEP and that they're implementing those strategies that we have all agreed to are going to work. And it's important again that everybody talk, because we don't want different strategies from different teachers. Too much is going to be confusing for the child. So we want a consistency around some goals and around the strategies that we can agree on. So we can share those with parents and they can use them at home. So we build a plan that really speaks to that child's needs and is easy for the child and the family to understand, and the staff too.
The document includes examples of strategy that boards have found successful to make their FSL programs more inclusive. Boards can review practices used to inform parents about all FSL programs including optional programs. Review practices regarding transfers, exemptions, and substitutions within FSL programs. And seek opportunities for staff collaboration and professional development in order to support all students.
Including students with special education needs in FSL supports the belief, articulated in a framework for FSL, that FSL programs are for all students. As we continue to explore and share ways to provide equitable opportunities and support to all learners in FSL programs, we plant the seeds of inclusivity and respect for future generations.